Hi everybody, welcome to Social Work 621, Family Public Policy. My name is Carolyn Mackey. I'm going to be your faculty for this particular class. I'm really excited. This is going to be a super fast whirlwind 5-week class. So I really want us to hit the ground running and have a really good experience together. The purpose of this first video is just to give you a quick introduction to the class. Make sure that everybody has a sound grasp on Canvas and how our homepage will work. Make sure that you know where to find all of the important documents, including the reading materials, your syllabus, and of course the assignments that are due. Before we get into all of that, I would just love to just tell you a little bit about myself first. I know with online classes sometimes it feels a little bit harder to connect to your faculty, so I'm going to do my best through these types of recordings to make it as engaged as possible and make you feel as connected to me as possible, and vice versa. Again, my name's Carolyn. I've been a faculty at NKU for 11 years. Absolutely love it there. The best part, hands down, about my job is teaching. I love interacting with my students. It's just the most rewarding part of what I do. Again, in an online class, it's a little different since we don't see each other, but still my goal is to create a very welcoming, comfortable, and safe environment for all of my students. So that's my goal, whether it's online or in person. At home, I have 4 kids. They are crazy. I also have a dog and 2 cats, and I am making these recordings from home. So it is possible that my dog will bark at some point or my cats will jump up in front of the screen. All of those things are possible. And if that happens, I will try to pretend like nothing's happening and just keep talking as business as usual. I've been married for 16 years, very happily. He's an awesome guy, big kid at heart himself. And then at NKU, the classes that I teach most commonly are this class as well as applied research, both 1 and 2. I love teaching those classes. At the undergraduate level, I also teach human behavior theory as well as social justice sometimes. But this class and my applied research classes are definitely the ones that I teach most commonly and that I love to teach. Let's see, I've got a list of things that I want to get through with you guys to make sure that you feel comfortable with what we're doing. So like I said, this class is fully online. Everything we do happens through Canvas. And so it is very important for you to feel comfortable with Canvas. For some of you, it's possible that Canvas is brand new and that you've never used it before. In that instance, I strongly recommend that you use these Canvas tutorials right here. There's a link. These tutorials were created by NKU, by our IT department. I very strongly recommend that you utilize those tutorials if Canvas is something that you've never used before. Again, during this introduction video, I will go through our Canvas site with you. However, if you want a broader overview of Canvas, definitely going to NKU's, to this link right here, this NKU link will be very helpful. So this class has 2 main objectives. The main objective is to teach all of you about some of the main federal policies that impact our clients. It's very important for us, if we are going to be of service to our clients, it's important for us to be aware of the different policies that impact them. So that's the first objective of this class. The second one is really to teach you the skills that you need to advocate for policy change. I think very often policy classes are perceived as boring, number 1, and number 2, students often perceive and faculty often approach policy courses in a way that it's just intended to relay content and not necessarily teach skills. My goal with this class is to truly teach you skills that will allow you to advocate for policy change in the future. As social workers, if we want to do a good job, certainly we help our clients in a one-on-one way, in a micro way. However, sometimes our clients are being impeded by policies, and then it is it's important for us to be ready, willing, and able to advocate for policy change. So I want to relay and teach you some skills that can be very helpful in the future when you try to advocate for that policy change. This class is organized into 5 modules, 1 module for each week of the course, because again, it's a 5-week class. In Module 1, we are going to discuss what constitutes family policy. We're going to talk about why policies exist, what specific techniques social workers can use to advocate for policy change, and what professional values guide this lobbying or advocacy process. Then after that, in Modules 2 through 5, we're going to take a more in-depth look at 4 specific lobbying skills. And in addition, we're also going to take a life cycle approach to look at some of the main policies that impact our clients. So in more detail here, I have it broken down. So Module 1, again, looking at what is policy, what are our professional values, and how do we advocate for policy change. Then Module 2, we will look at policies that specifically impact children, and we will look at how to write a letter to an elected official. In Module 3, we will look at policies that specifically affect adults, and we'll also look at how to write a policy fact sheet. In Module 4, we will look at policies that affect specific subpopulations of adults, and we will also learn how to write talking points for policy advocacy. And then in Module 5, we'll look at policies that specifically affect the elderly population, and also we will look at how to create a policy brief. So those are the 5 modules, again, 1 module for each of the weeks of this particular class. For each module, I am going to give you readings and videos to watch. You will not have to buy a textbook for this class. I am very aware of the fact that going to college costs a lot of money. And so what I have tried to do is to include chapters, articles, videos, newspaper articles, etc. that are relevant to this topic, and I have provided them to you here on Canvas. So you do not need to purchase any outside materials for this particular class. All of the materials have been provided for you, and you can access those within the tabs for each of the modules of this class. So for instance, if you scroll down, you'll see at the very bottom that there is a button for each of the 5 modules of this class. So if you want to access the reading materials and viewing materials for Module 1, you will just click on the Module 1 button, and what you will see is that it says Module 1, Policy, Professional Values, and Advocating for Policy Change. Welcome to week 1 of this course. It will then give you a quick overview of what we're doing that week, and then what you will see is you will see a mini lecture. So there will be a video similar to this one that you're watching right now, but there will be one for every module of this class. It will be a mini lecture that ranges from anywhere from 10 minutes to a half hour, so not very long. You will watch that mini lecture. I also always provide the PowerPoint that goes with that mini lecture, just in case you just want to reference the PowerPoint at a later date. And then I provide you with the different documents or materials that you have to read or view for that particular module. So all of the materials are provided for you within this page for Module 1. And then at the very bottom of each module, what you'll see is I will have a tab for you for the assignments for that week. Each week you will have 2 assignments. You will always have a quiz, and then you'll always have a written assignment, a paper that's due. And to access those, you will just click on either of these buttons, whichever one you're trying to access. So for instance, for this week, you have a quiz that pertains to all of these materials that you have to watch and or read. That quiz is due right here on June 2nd by midnight, so that's Sunday by midnight. And if you just click on the quiz button, it will take you to the quiz. All of the quizzes consist of 10 questions that are multiple choice or true-false. And those questions all pertain to the materials for that module. I never time these quizzes, so you can take as much time as you would like to complete these quizzes. However, you have to complete them in one sitting. You only have one attempt. So, excuse me, once you start the quiz, you have to finish it in that sitting. You cannot log off and then log back in later. That does not work. But once you've logged in, you have as much time as you would like to complete it. Again, 10 questions and multiple choice, true, false. If I just return real quickly to the home page, then go back down and go back to Module 1, I'll also show you what the assignment looks like. So if I click on assignment, it will link me to the assignment, and this would be assignment 1, which is the professional values assignment. And I will talk about this in more depth during the mini lecture for Module 1. So this is how you get to the assignments and to the quizzes, and then you can just hit the home button to go back home. Okay, let's see, I want to make sure that I'm telling you all of the different pieces to go through. So we've talked about the 5 modules, we've talked about the materials that are accessible right here through the different module buttons. Let's talk really quickly about the assignments next. Okay, so these assignments, these are all the assignments that you have for this class. As I already mentioned, you have 1 quiz for every module. So you have 5 quizzes total for this class. Each quiz is worth 10 points, which means that those 5 quizzes combined are worth 50 points out of 100. So half of your grade in this class is determined by these quizzes. So it's very important that you take your time for those and that you really put in full effort. Aside from those 5 quizzes, you also have 5 written assignments. These are all papers, but they are very brief. In fact, none of these should exceed 1 page written, a 1-page written document. So again, they're all very short, and that's important to recognize because when we engage in policy advocacy, generally the documents we create are very short in nature. The first assignment that's due, the first written assignment that's due during Module 1 is this professional values assignment. It is worth 5 points. Then in Module 2, you will have the letter to an elected official that's due. That's worth 10 points. For Module 3, you will have a fact sheet due. That's worth 10 points. Then the following module, you'll have a talking points paper due. That's 10 points. And then in the final module, Module 5, you will have a policy brief due. And that policy brief is, and that's actually a paper, not a presentation. I will fix that. But you have a policy brief paper due, and that is also worth 15 points. And that then, of course, adds up to 100. These last 4 assignments right here, I just want to talk about those a little bit more extensively. These 4 things are all advocacy tools that are used very regularly by social workers and other professionals in the community to advocate for policy change. They're very, very important. And so the goal of this class is to teach you the skills and to give you the experience to create each of those 4 documents. So they will be, these 4 assignments are really the meat. They are at the heart of what we're doing in this class. And I will guide you through each of those 4 assignments as we move through this class. So during the mini lecture for each of those modules, I will talk about that assignment, and I will talk about my expectations of that assignment, and I will give you reading materials related to that assignment. So please don't think that I'm just going to send you out there blind and have you engage in these different assignments without guidance. That's not the case. I will guide you through this process. Excuse me. The other thing that I want to point out is that for all 4 of these assignments, I want you to choose, and I have it described right here, I want you to choose 1 social issue and accompanying policy, and based on that social issue and that policy, you will write each of these 4 assignments. So again, all 4 of your advocacy tool assignments are going to be based on that 1 social issue and accompanying policy. So that means that you're going to be doing a considerable amount of research on that topic and on that policy. So please choose something that you really are passionate about and something that you're very interested in. More detail about each of the assignments and how to pick a social issue is provided in the syllabus. So please look at the syllabus for more detailed information about each of them. It's very important for you to pick a good topic that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, and something that you feel comfortable with. Again, especially since that topic is going to be carried through this entire class, all 4 of these advocacy tool assignments. I'd also like to point out that you can pick something that is relevant at a federal policy level or a state policy level. You could, for instance, look at abortion policy. That would be one thing you could choose, and certainly either at the federal or the state level, you could find legislation and policies that you could use for all 4 of these assignments. That would be obviously a policy that is in the federal and state spotlight at this point in time and has been for years. An alternative to that, though, is you can certainly think outside of the box. So for this class, you don't necessarily have to think about federal or state law or policy or bills. You can think outside of the box if you want to. Now, that might be more complicated for some, and for others, it may actually come more naturally. So let me give you an example. I'll give you 2 quick examples. For instance, I told you I have 4 kids. My oldest boy is in 6th grade, and as of 6th grade, he'll actually be finishing up 6th grade here in a few weeks. But he's currently in 6th grade, and as of 6th grade, for this year, for the first time, his school eliminated recess. Got rid of recess altogether for 6th graders and above. That is the policy that my kids' school has adopted. It's not federal, it's law, it's not a state law. It's just the policy that my kids' school has adopted to no longer have recess as of 6th grade. Now, there is research that suggests that recess is actually great for cognitive development, and that it's actually an important part of developing a child's brain, and that we all need those breaks, and if you can go outside, that's very healthy for brain development. So you could potentially advocate for policy change to the school, to, for instance, the school board or the superintendent, to change that policy. That's an option to you. So if you wanted to go more with a policy that's more locally creating an impact, then certainly I'm willing to support that, because again, the goal is for you to choose something that is really relevant and impactful for you. Another alternative, for instance, that you could think of is sex ed. That's kind of a hot topic, and there actually is state law that's kind of been more or less in the spotlight within the last year related to that, where potentially the state of Kentucky would like to mandate the use of abstinence-only sex education. Again, there is a slew of research that suggests that abstinence-only sex ed does not work. And in fact, not only does it not work, but it could potentially have harmful implications. So what you could do is, again, conduct these 4 advocacy tools, or create these 4 advocacy tools based on that topic of sex ed. Again, I want you to choose something that you're interested in and that you're passionate about, and for you to recognize that really, especially in the first week or 2 of this class, is when you're going to have the most work in terms of finding articles and materials related to this topic and this policy, because you will need that information to then be able to write these 4 documents. You'll need that research and those facts to back you up as you write these documents. So again, think about the topic and start researching that as soon as you can, because the more you can research this up front, the better off you'll be, because it'll be less stressful as you get closer to these deadlines. Of course, when you pull all of this information, when you pull these resources, you will have to cite them in in social work, the formatting style that we use for citations is APA. I had linked a little cheat sheet here for you. So if you struggle with APA formatting, please feel free to use this cheat sheet. It just gives you some examples of how to cite, for instance, a web-based article, how to cite a peer-reviewed article, how to cite a book, etc. So please use this cheat sheet if you feel that it would be helpful to you. You can also, of course, use the APA manual, which is kind of the Bible of APA formatting. So please feel free to borrow that book from the library or purchase it if you would like to. Okay, so now that we've talked about the outline of the course, again, there's 5 modules. I've shared with you how to access the materials for each of the 5 modules. Again, you do not have to purchase a book. All of the materials will be linked within each of the modules. So again, your reading materials, any videos that you will have to watch will be on here. And of course, you can access your assignments at the bottom of each module. Also, as I said, I will create a mini lecture for you for every single module that will provide you some guidance on what's coming that week and some insight into the materials. The next thing I would like to do is to just briefly look through the syllabus. So if you look here on the left, you can see there's only 4 tabs for you to see, so it's very easy. There's this home page, then the syllabus, then the announcements, which obviously is where any announcements I post, you would find them there. Your grades can be accessed here. Let's check out the syllabus first, though. When you click on the syllabus tab on the left, what you'll see is that the syllabus is linked at the top, and then a really nice feature is that Canvas tells you right here what assignments are due and what the due date is. So June 2nd, you have two assignments due. Those are your Module 1 assignments. June 9th, you have 2 assignments due. Those are your Module 2 assignments. June 16th, you have your Module 3 assignments due. June 23rd, you have your Module 4 assignments due. And then June 30th, you have your Module 5 assignments due. So you can keep track here of what assignments are due at what time. Then if we click on the syllabus, we're just going to have a quick look at it. I am going to move it over so that you can see it on this screen. Now, I'm certainly not going to go through the whole syllabus with you. I absolutely know that you can read this on your own, so we're just going to touch on the highlights together. Again, it is a fully online class. It starts on May 28th. It ends on July 1st. Since it is fully online, it is critically important that you feel comfortable with Canvas. Again, if you've never used Canvas before and you have some anxiety about it, then please feel free to use those Canvas tutorials that I have linked on our Canvas homepage. This class is going to look at family policy. It's going to give you a life cycle overview of the different main federal policies that are of the utmost importance to our clients. And then it will also help build the skills for you to engage in policy advocacy. Let's scroll down now. Certainly, as any class should be, inclusivity, diversity, creating a safe place is one of my primary goals and concerns in teaching any class. Part of that is ensuring that we respect difference and embrace it, that it's a beautiful thing to be different, to have differences in opinions, in backgrounds, cultures, etc. So that's something that I espouse greatly in all of my classes. A disability statement is right here. Please know that if you need any assistance with any disabilities, that you can contact the disability office. Their website, the link is right here, so please access that. I will ensure that all of my videos have closed captioning so that if anybody has hearing difficulties or disabilities, that they can certainly access, that they can still access my materials. Then I'd also like to highlight here that, gosh, being a student isn't easy. There are a lot of demands placed on all of us, including graduate students. I definitely acknowledge that. I want everybody to know that Fuel NKU is a resource that's available to you. Going to school is very expensive. Going to grad school, a lot of individuals have families to take care of, or they are simply fully independent and have to pay their own rent and their tuition and any other bills that are coming their way. This can be really challenging. And so I want everybody to know that we do have a food pantry on campus, that we encourage students to use it. Please use it if you think you can benefit from it. All that you need is your ALL card. If you don't know how to access your ALL card, just go onto NKU's website and type in ALL card in the search bar and it will tell you exactly what to do. It's just your student ID. That's all you need to be able to access services at Fuel NKU. They have fresh veggies, canned items, other food items, snack items, pasta, I mean, you name it, they have it. And they also have toiletries and feminine hygiene products, so please access that service if it's something that can be beneficial to you. We also know that dating, violence, sexual assault, stalking, sadly, those things are quite common in the United States and especially on college campuses, actually. We do have the Norse Violence Prevention Center on our campus. They provide free and confidential advocacy services, so please visit them if you feel like you could benefit from their services. And then we also do have a counseling center on campus. It's our Health Counseling and Student Wellness Center. Their phone number is right here. Please know that our campus does offer individual counseling for students. It's $15 per session, and you do not need insurance to be able to access their services. You can use your insurance there if you'd like to, but it's not necessary. So again, please access those services if you would like to. We know that depression and anxiety are quite high among graduate students and actually college students in general. So please seek the help that you could benefit from. For professional and academic integrity, again, number one, we all have to engage in ethical behavior. That's very important. A part of that also means that you wouldn't plagiarize any materials. So if you are using sources, which you will be in your assignments, so if you are citing different sources, you would obviously never, unless you're using quotation marks, you would never take their words verbatim. So if you're going to use a direct quote, that's fine, but then you use quotation marks and you still cite it. If you just use your own words to describe somebody else's thoughts, so if you're paraphrasing somebody else's thoughts, you would still want to cite the source. So you want to make sure that you never take somebody else's ideas without giving them credit for said ideas. And certainly if you are going to use their words word for word, so if it is a direct quote, you want to make sure that you reflect that by using quotation marks. Okay. Obviously this is an online class, so we will never meet for class time in a classroom. It will all be fully online. I do expect you guys to use APA formatting, as I said before. You're not required to meet with me outside of class. However, if you feel like that would be helpful, then please let me know. I'd be happy to meet with you either in person or over the phone. Again, I want to create a very inclusive, comfortable, safe environment for my students. I try to be very responsive. If I don't respond to an email within 24 hours, and again, that's during the work week, on the weekends I might be a little bit delayed, but if during the work week I don't respond to you within 24 hours, please send me another email, because that means that something went wrong and I didn't get your email, because I'm generally very prompt at responding to my students' emails. In terms of your written assignments and me grading them, I try to get all assignments graded within 1 week of the due date. So if the assignment was due on Sunday, I will try to get you feedback by the following Sunday. That's always my goal. And unless there are extenuating circumstances, I generally meet that goal. Okay, then the grading scale, you can look at this, but essentially a 93 and above is an A, 90 to 92.99 is an A minus, etc. Obviously, since this is a graduate course, you cannot earn less than a 73. Less than a 73 would be considered a failing grade. Okay, again, no textbook required for this class. I am posting all of your materials on Canvas. We already talked about the structure of this class. It's broken down into 5 modules, and I provide materials and assignments for each of those 5 modules. And you can just click on the module button at the bottom of the home page to navigate to each week's materials. I said right here, please go to our Canvas homepage for a quick welcome and course overview. You've clearly found that because that's what you're watching right now. We already went over the assignments. So again, 5 quizzes, 50 points total, so 10 points per quiz, all multiple choice true false, no time limit on the quizzes, but you do have to complete them in one sitting. You cannot have multiple attempts. Then you'll have a professional values assignment due in week 1 for module 1. In module 2, you'll have to write a letter to an elected official. Module 3, you'll have to do a fact sheet. Module 4, you'll create talking points. And module 5, you'll create a policy brief. Each of these assignments is due by the due date. I do not allow for late assignments. Unless you have made prior arrangements with me. So if you have extenuating circumstances and you and I have emailed and we've come up with an alternate deadline, then that's of course totally fine. But if you simply don't turn an assignment in, then that will result in a grade of 0 for that particular assignment. Right here in this section of the syllabus, you will find a detailed overview of each of your assignments. So I provided all the detail that you would need to be able to complete the assignment, including the deadlines. So please look through this section of the syllabus very carefully as you complete each of your assignments. Again, for the advocacy tool assignments, those 4 assignments that really teach you the skill of writing a particular advocacy tool, listed right here. So the letter to an elected official, the fact sheet, the talking points, and the policy brief. Again, for each of those 4 assignments, I want you to choose one social problem and accompanying policy. And that's what I want you to base all 4 of these assignments on. So again, over the next few days, you really have to spend time thinking about what policy, what topic you want to focus on. Pick something that you really feel passionate about. Again, with the policy you choose, it can be either one that you really support, like you think it's a great policy that needs to stick around, or you can choose a policy that you oppose, so one that you feel is a hindrance or an impediment to our clients or to people in general. Now here's the kicker, and this is really important. Since you are writing these advocacy materials from the perspective of a social worker, your values must align with the social work profession. So if you support the policy, you have to support it. How should I put this? If you support the policy, it's because the profession supports it. So let me give you an example. We'll just go with the kind of the one that's used a lot. For instance, with abortion policy. If you personally, your personal values make it such that you oppose abortion. However, the social work profession is in favor of abortion and allowing individuals the choice, the freedom to choose whether or not abortion is the best route for them. So in that case, if you choose abortion for this assignment, you would have to reflect the professional values. So in other words, you would have to be a proponent of abortion. You wouldn't be able to oppose abortion for these assignments because, again, you are reflecting the view of the social work profession because you are writing these documents as a social worker. So please keep that in mind. The first assignment for Module 1 is really going to help you with establishing what are the differences between your own personal values and those of the profession, and how do you deal with that? How do you deal with it if there are differences between your own personal values and the values of the profession? So if you choose a policy that you support, then the goal of your advocacy would, for instance, be to maintain that policy or to pass a bill that would support that law. If you oppose your chosen policy, then the goal of your advocacy could be to eliminate that policy, or to pass an amendment to existing law, or to prevent the bill you oppose from ever becoming law. Or your goal could also be to pass a new bill that would replace the law that you oppose. So again, whatever policy and social issue you choose, that is what all 4 of these assignments are going to be based on. So it's important that you choose something that you really are interested in. This link right here is a great source for you to find a topic that you might be interested in. So on this website, they give in-depth coverage on the most important issues that are currently in the spotlight. And they give fact-checked information about those policies so that you have a nice resource to start from. They will give you some really good factual information. So that's a great place for you to start to find that topic. Here are some examples of topics that you could choose from. Most of these are on this CQ website. So bullying, cyberbullying, foster care, gun violence, immigrants, medical marijuana, women in leadership, domestic poverty, etc. The list goes on, and there's many more on the CQ website. So on CQ, you can find some brief reports to kind of give you a quick overview, but they also have full-length reports that will have an overview of the policy, historical background, all kinds of very interesting information. So please use this reference. It will really be of great assistance to you. Again, you do not have to choose one of these. You can think outside of the box and go, for instance, with the example I gave before, like recess or even homework. There are schools that have adopted a no homework policy because there's research that shows that up until high school, homework really is not helpful. It doesn't promote academic outcomes. The only type of homework that does promote academic outcomes in elementary school is reading every night, a book of choice of the child. So you could even look at that type of policy as well. Okay, then there's a more detailed overview of each of the assignments here. So again, please reference this detailed information about each assignment right here in the syllabus. And then the last page of the syllabus is just our class schedule. Very clear, cut and dry. We have 5 weeks in this class. I'm going to scroll down so you can see each of the 5 just about. So week 1, again, we will look at module 1, policy, professional values, and advocating for policy change. You will have to watch the mini lecture and then read and watch the supplemental materials on Canvas. Based on this information, you will take a quiz and you will complete the professional values assignment, and all of that is due June 2nd at 11:59 p.m. on Canvas. Then in module 2, week 2, this is what we will be covering. Again, a quiz, and then you have your letter to the elected official due, and the due date is right here. So again, this just provides an overview of what we are doing each week, what assignments you will need to complete, and what the due date is. Please take your time to review this syllabus very carefully. It really, it should be your best friend at this point. It's very important, especially with an online class. It's so important for you to have a really clear understanding of what's in the syllabus. I have done my absolute best to make the outline of this course in Canvas as user-friendly as possible, so you never feel lost on here. If you do feel lost at any point, then please just send me an email so that I can clarify whatever needs clarifying for you. We'll just really quickly click on these tabs as well, since we haven't done that. This is where I will put announcements for you when I post them. And then under grades, this is where you will see your grades. Once I've graded an assignment or once you've taken the quiz, your score will pop up right there. All right, and I think that's it for this particular video. Again, let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm happy to help. I'm looking forward to this 5-week class with you. Again, I know it's harder to feel connected in an online class, but I feel really confident that we can make that happen. So just let me know how I can be of assistance, and I am looking forward to spending these 5 weeks with you. Bye.